will only be the 5th, which is kind of terrible, to do this.
You need a light.
Yeah, I do. Anyway, so this is a composite of the other 4.
Indigenous Solidarity.
There's Santa Fe, I think Boston and Asheville were the first ones. And then Oakland. And then, there we go, thank you. And then Oakland. And then Santa Fe. And then this is the one that I drafted. So, whereas those participating in Occupy Stony Brook acknowledge that the United States of America is a colonial country and that non-Indigenous peoples are guests upon stolen land, and whereas those participating in Occupy Stony Brook acknowledge that Stony Brook is already occupied land, Stony Brook being the historical Setalcott village of Wampawag, and whereas Indigenous Long Islanders and coastal New York urban Indians, like me, face higher levels of economic instability than non-Indigenous people, and whereas those participating in Occupy Stony Brook acknowledge that the Occupy movement is to have any legitimacy, we must join with all those who work to decolonize our society. And whereas those participating in Occupy Stony Brook acknowledge that Indigenous peoples here and around the world continue to resist the violent oppression and exploitation of colonizing nations like the United States, and as a result have a great amount of experience that could strengthen the Occupy movement, therefore be it resolved that those participating in Occupy Stony Brook seek the genuine and respectful involvement of Indigenous peoples, and as a sign to the national Occupy movement and to Indigenous peoples everywhere who have felt excluded by the colonialist language of occupation, and this is true, it's a big discussion, it shall be declared that Occupy Stony Brook seeks to decolonize Stony Brook with the active participation of Indigenous peoples, and extending an open hand of humility and friendship, those participating in Occupy Stony Brook respectfully invite Indigenous peoples to take part in the popular uprising taking place across the continent, while at the same time standing in solidarity with Indigenous peoples in their fight for survival. And solidarity, Wayland Wank Cutter, the Oaklanders had that sort of thing. So my proposal is that we make this resolution.
In terms of what you guys put up before, can this be a directly? It seems to me it's directly linked to that. Can this be like a subsection of like constitution-wise, like?
Certainly.
Yeah.